Hi, my name is Lauren Huff, and I decided to write my tribute speech on my dad, just because learning about his childhood and stuff inspires me on the way that he is now and how he raised my sister and how he treats my mom. For my visual aid, I'm showing a photo of my family. This is me, obviously. My dad, my mom, and my sister. So, growing up, I figured that everything I was able to do or have was a normal thing for children, and I never really realized that a lot of people didn't have the advantage of the things that my dad provided for my family. He really put us first through everything, and I never realized how much I really owe both my parents really for giving up things for me and my sister to be able to have a really good life. The thing is that he didn't grow up with that kind of influence, so he really learned to do a lot of the stuff he does for me and my sister on his own. His father was not a good influence on his life, and he did not have anyone to show him the good quality a husband and father are supposed to have, and that's why I really look up to my dad as much as I do. Many dads are so great because they see how their dad honored God and cared for their family, and try to model the behavior. But unfortunately, my dad does not have this example, and he had to learn on his own how to treat a wife and kids lovingly and put them first for absolutely everything. My dads can be great role models and people look up to, but in other cases, dads can create a highly dysfunctional home environment. My dad grew up with an alcoholic and abusive father in a home where God was largely left out. So that's where I'm going to start talking about my grandpa. He grew up in the inner city Chicago with a brother and two sisters. Both his dad and mom were alcoholics, and my grandpa had to often share his side job money with his sister. Although he grew up in like a highly dysfunctional environment, he was able to hold down a steady job when my dad was younger, but every night and every weekend was spent in a bar. Having grown up in a very dysfunctional home, my dad had anger issues and really had no example of what it meant to be a father and to honor his wife and care for his family in a godly manner. My dad became a Christian at the age of 30 and a year before I was born. As a young Christian, God surrounded my dad with a group of four mature, godly men. Together they learned and held each other accountable to godly living for almost 10 years. For my dad, this meant learning about his heavenly Father and what it really meant to put God first, family second, and work third. Although far from perfect, my dad really works hard to live his life this way. The differences between how my dad treats us versus my grandpa treated him. My dad was verbally abused on a daily basis, and he rarely received encouragement, wisdom, and guidance in his decision making, and any correction was often physically abusive. Time spent with his dad was usually overshadowed by the presence of alcohol. And also, a side note about alcohol, my parents both don't drink because of the effect that alcohol had on both of their families. So, when I was talking to my dad about all these different things, I learned that a lot of the reasons that they hate alcohol so much is because of their past. So that was kind of interesting to me. Continuing on, my dad did grow up in a middle-class Midwestern home. He never remembers being without food or proper clothing, and his family often went camping, fishing, and hunting. So they did do fun things as a family, but he just didn't have that role as a father to look up to. My dad had to work very hard to get where he is now. At first, he saved $100 by washing dishes at the Friday night VW fish fry, delivered newspapers, shoe store, sock boy, college bookstore manager, and several other things. He earned his undergraduate BS mechanical engineering and received his MBA when I was a young child. And he traveled the world before quitting it all to start his own business so he could start being home more often with the family. My dad inspires me all the time and pushes me to do my best no matter what the situation is. And he's always put my sister, my mom, and I first and has never once been selfish. Nobody's upbringing is obviously perfect, but many are blessed with two parents who can be role models for the futures. My grandpa has issues on his own, and they were unfortunately brought into my dad's life, and he had to deal with and put up with an abusive and alcoholic father for his entire life. After growing up and getting out of the house and marrying my mom, he turned his life around and became a Christian. He started from um, basically nothing and ultimately ended up owning his own business by working extremely hard. And he always pushes my sister and I to do the same. Having had this amazing example of my father throughout my entire life, I am going to be sure to find a husband that is similar to my dad and like working hard and a Christian family man. My dad has shown me what a spouse is supposed to be like and how they should act, and I know now to never settle for anything less than what my dad is. So basically, my dad is an amazing example and has really pushed me to do my best in life, and I'm extremely grateful for him.